What up, y'all? DC Fago guy. Welcome back to What's Happening Now. Goddamn, it's been about 2 months now, roughly, I think, since the last What's Happening Now dropped. I decided to focus a little bit more on different videos, reviews primarily. I had some that I wanted to bang out. And if you guys didn't notice, I've been a little busy collaborating. Low-key reached out to me, as well as a few others. Started a new channel called Shadowland Universes. You guys can head over there and subscribe to that channel if you're not already subscribed to it. Or if you're not subscribed to Low-key's channel, or you are and you haven't really been paying attention, there's a brand new channel, new venture he's going out on. I'm one of the people he reached out to. Night Shift is another one that he has reached out to. There are others that he hasn't announced yet. It's not my bag to really announce, but I've been busy grinding out some content for that new channel. Basically, what I'm going to be doing over there is like what I've been doing here. There's a spin-off series similar to What's Happening Now called Shadowland Offerings. I'm going to be doing reactions over there, CD reviews, kind of things I do here, but all the low-key stuff is going to kind of migrate over there. So here it's going to be business as usual. Just when it pertains more directly to low-key, it's going to be over on that channel. But every now and again, you know, I got to drop some shit here because I fucking love low-key. So I'm going to talk about low-key on this channel, but most of that stuff's going to be over there. Make sure you head over to Shadowland Universes here on YouTube and sub up if you're a fan of low-key and you're a fan of me. It's a great place to stay in the touch of that. There's a brand new app that he has out available right now that you can get on your phone, whether you're an iOS user or Android. You go to the link, fucking add it to your home screen. It's really fucking cool. There's so many cool like different things on there. There's a news feed. There's a fucking option to listen to music. He's got a little player going where Locatron is like plugged into it and plays music there. There's a spot for fucking the new drops coming out. You can look at like a thing for the new drops coming out. There's a spot that has the shop. It's a really great resource. Again, if you're a fan of low-key, you can fucking download that, add it to your phone, and have like a central hub for everything low-key in Shadowland. So moving that out of the way, let's jump into it. There's some shit that has gone on. There's things that has happened that I'm not really gonna talk about in this video. I mean, when it happened, like I've interacted a little bit on like Discord and shit, but it's kind of like a lot of things that I really just, it's not really on my radar and it's not really creating a lot of buzz for me. Like I know it's creating buzz for other content creators because they're making their videos about it. Like primarily the whole Jamie Madrox posting on Instagram, tagging Jay about them not being invited to the gathering and shit like that. Like I knew with 1,000% certainty there's no way they were going to be at the gathering, so it was just never on my mind. And I can't believe that there were actually some juggalos out there that even thought that that was going to be a possibility, to the point that they had to fucking like tag Jamie and he had to go make a post to clarify shit. Like if you haven't been keeping up, then that's kind of on you. I did not expect them to be at the gathering. I don't expect them to ever be at the gathering again. And honestly, I'll just fucking say it. I don't think I want them to go back to the gathering. I don't think it'll ever be the same because things just aren't the same. So yeah, that one completely out of the way. Of course, there's a lot of like shit going on with allegations and stuff and just really fucking dumb shit. And that shit doesn't pertain, and I'm not even going to try to start to go down that road. So I will tell you, I'm not addressing any of that shit. I've really touched on the Jamie thing more than I really was going to. So there you go. Merry Christmas. But we got some other shit that's been announced and some shit that I sat on for so long that even more shit has been announced. And I'm going to start it off with Boondox. Does he have a brand new fucking album in the work or what? I want to say that he changed his profile picture, which is that right there. He changed his cover photo on Facebook, which is that right there. And this was like a week before Gods of Evil Rise came out. So Magic Ninja Entertainment, are they just like ready to roll out with all the fucking projects. I know we've already gotten a new single for Gmo Ski's Huckleberry Filth that dropped. That album's slowly going to start rolling out, I think. And so I feel like the seeds are now being planted for a brand new Boondox album. And I mean, that's super presumptuous on my part, but just purely based on the fact that Boondox updated these graphics, it really put it on my mind, and I think it put on a lot of other people's minds. No idea what it would even remotely be called. I mean, there's a blood moon there, so it's definitely going to be something pertaining, I think, to maybe that, like the red moon or something like that. I've made the joke a couple times about, like, Crimson is his go-to. He's got Crimson Crow, Crimson Creek. So maybe Crimson Moon. We're getting Crimson Moon soon. Could be very dope. Boondox has actually stayed, I would say Boondox has stayed pretty fucking busy outside of his actual, like, Boondox moniker. He's been dropping shit with Buckshot. He's done what? Let's just see if we can let's see if we can go through and count everything he stayed busy with. All right, so the last Boondox full project, So Much Blood, that dropped what? 2022? 2023? Right? It was one of those two. Somebody correct me, please, because I can't remember. It's been a little bit. Honestly, that album, as much as I liked that album, it definitely fell to the wayside kind of quickly for me. And I'm a big Boondox guy. Like, I'm usually, when people are saying they don't like Boondox, I'm there to say, like, I fuck with Boondox because I live in the fucking cornfields, is usually what I always say. But I want to say it was 2023 was when So Much Blood came out. And I feel like it was 2022 now. But the more that I think about it, I'm pretty positive it was 2022. But since then, he's released The Horde with Buckshot. That was 2023 for sure. And then we ended up with what? I know they did a Hell's Kitchen, but that was before So Much Blood. I'm trying to do after So Much Blood. So we had The Horde with Buckshot. We had one last UGA album. He's done a Turncoat Dirty project. Is that it? Just those 3 albums? Is that it? I think that's it. So he's done 3 albums. I'd say that's pretty busy, you know what I mean? It's not under the Boondox gimmick. I think The Horde technically falls more in the category of Boondox because, like, it was Boondox and Buckshot. Sometimes with these little side collabs, it gets confusing because sometimes they're a super group, sometimes they're not. They're just like an album theme, kind of like with what's that one fucking project he did with Buckshot? Paradigm Shift. Wasn't technically like a group album. It was just a little collaborative album that they put out, but it was still technically Boondox and Buckshot. That's kind of the way I look at The Horde. It was just Buckshot and Boondox together doing an album that had like a theme and a story to it. But regardless, Boondox has stayed pretty busy, just not under the Boondox name or with the Boondox theme, if you will. So I am absolutely definitely excited for some new Boondukes. I like me some Boondukes. I am excited for some new Boondox because I do really enjoy Boondox, even though some of the last couple projects he's put out kind of fell to the wayside. We're in a territory now musically where, like, it's so give me more. You finish this serving, give me more. Give me something else. Keep it coming. And honestly, there's a What You Thinking About video that I have in the dome that's probably going to come out maybe soon that pertains to that. But, you know, it's definitely keep it coming, baby. Give me the next plate and let me shovel that shit in my mouth and we'll move on. Like a fucking scene from Dragon Ball Z where Goku's scarfing the shit down and plate after plate after plate. That's where the music climate kind of is right now. So moving on from that, excited for Boondox. That's the big takeaway. I think new Boondox is coming. I'm excited for it. And hopefully I'll spend more than fucking 2 weeks with it because I want to shift my brain into spending more time with albums. But moving on from that, this one was a big one, and so many more details have come out since. I believe in the last What's Happening Now, we brushed on this, that there was a teaser for Mighty Morphin Wackness. Well, we know what it is, baby. Mighty Morphin Wackness. going to the float, and not just Mighty Morphin Wackness, Al Azul Ilu is gonna be at the float. And this one really fucking excited me for two reasons. For one, I do believe this is Zul's first time at the float. Obviously, you know, there are politics at play here. Al Azul Ilu being signed to MNE. Currently, I do suspect that that's going to change super duper fucking soon, because Billy Obey is very much teasing a big announcement, and like just that things are gonna, I forget the way he phrased it, things are coming to an end, and all that matters is long live evil, or some shit like that. I'm paraphrasing like a motherfucker. But I mean, he's been kind of teasing for a little bit about chains coming off and all that. So I would safely assume they're getting ready to leave the label. I don't know if that's going to affect things differently. Like, are certain grifters going to let go of certain fucking pettinesses now that they're not tied to that label? Or is it you fucked with them once, you're fucked forever, like Buckshot was? I don't know how grifty motherfuckers get. But I find the news that Al Azul Ilu is going to be at the float to be super fucking awesome. Again, because it's their first time. And I think that they're going to absolutely fucking kill it. And I would hope that they kind of become like a staple at the float. But the other cool thing that I really love about it is when we first talked about Camp Zul being announced, after the float was announced, they basically have flip-flopped. And I love the absolute fact that Zul is going to be at the float now. It's kind of like, you know, maybe they got booked for the float first, and that's when they were like, okay, we need to move Camp Zul to later in the year. I don't know. That's just where my head went. I was like, okay, this makes sense. You know, the float was originally announced first. They moved theirs back because of that. And now seeing them booked at the float definitely makes me feel like, okay, they definitely pushed it back. Not only for temperature reasons, but for this reason right here. And, you know, I remember, and I forget his name, and I feel bad for forgetting his name. Ogre, I think was his name. Was at Camp Zul last year doing major hella promoting for the float, you know, giving out fucking, what was it, a mixtape that they'd released at previous floats, and just talking about how great of a time it is, you know. And Megs and I have been wanting to go for a few years now to the float, but, you know, we're not going to make it this year. I don't know. I can't speak on next year. I can't really speak for the next couple of years, but definitely the float is something we want to scratch off our event list. But then to kind of jump back to the Mighty Morphin Wackness, oh yeah, it's going down for sure. There's going to be a tour. I'm a poet. I didn't even know it. June 12th, they're kicking off the Mighty Morphin Wackness 2 tour. They're hitting fucking Lansing, Michigan, Fort Wayne, Indiana, which is the one I'm planning to hit up, Green Bay, Wisconsin, St. Louis, Missouri, Fort Smith. Is that Arkansas? Should be Arkansas. I think AZ is Arizona. AR should be Arkansas. Tom Woods, Flow Baby, Louisville, Kentucky, and Dayton, Ohio. So they're doing a little bit more of a Midwest run on this one. So Mighty Morphin Wackness 3 maybe hit the West Coast. I don't know. I don't know how long they plan on doing this thing. And it's still not revealed if they're going to be offering the Mighty Morphin Wackness EP on this tour. It's an assumption on my part. I don't know if it will. I would hope that it is, because I'm planning on going. They are currently selling jerseys right now, which I think, as of me recording this, the pre-orders for that has ended. You can no longer get those jerseys because they will not be for sale on the tour. But there's no word yet about the actual EP. I'm hoping that will be revealed, or you know, the tour will kick off and we'll start finding out that it is being sold. That's my hope, at least. I hope that they pressed up more and that is going to be sold. But Mighty Morphin Wackness 2, for those who don't know, it's Clockworky and Super Famous Funtime guys collaboratively. Mighty Morphin Wackness is their thing. So excited to see that they are going on tour for that again, and that they are coming close enough for me to go to it. So yeah, definitely hit up one of those dates if you are interested, if you are down. Also hitting the road. This episode of What's Happening Now is definitely focused a little bit more on tours, because there was quite a few fucking tour dates. And actually, by the time I'm recording this, the next piece of news that I have to talk about, it's pretty much done. So that's how long I've been sitting on this. But Kung Fu Vampire hit the road. I'm not going to say hitting the road. He hit the road. May 11th was the first date. June 1st is the last date, which is this coming Saturday. I'm filming this on Memorial Day. So Kung Fu Vampire with Action Paxton hit the road. He went to fucking Nevada, Oregon. He's got like 3 spots in Oregon, Washington, California, 2 California dates, and then back into Nevada. I'm going to safely assume that this is just the first tour for the year. He also has been posting a little bit on Twitter about festivals that he's not been invited to. He has not been invited to The Gathering yet, and I'm going to maybe assume he won't. He's not going to be at the float this year. He is booked for Lights Out. That's definitely one he's going to be doing. Part of me wants to assume, big time assumption here, that while he's out this way, because he's from California, he's probably going to do like a little tour of this, the Midwest. That's my assumption, is that while he's out here for Lights Out, which Lights Out is going down the last week of August. So my assumption is Kung Fu Vampire is going to be going on tour again. So if you've never seen him live, it's your opportunity to go do so. Kung Fu Vampire absolutely fucking kills it on stage. It's a show like you wouldn't expect. He's very high energy. He's all over the stage. He doesn't just stay in one place and just, he's like moving and grooving, and, Paxton's usually there with drums. It's a different concert experience than I think you might be expecting, because he does primarily rap music, but they bring like a drum set and have like a rock set on stage. It's actually really dope. If you've never seen Kung Fu Vampire, I would suggest hitting him up. Well, not on this tour that he went on, because it's kind of coming to an end, but I'm assuming he's going to be going on tour again around the end of August. That just makes sense to me. And then also, ICP pretty much wrapping up their first tour, continuing their little tour. They don't even have like a name for it. It's just Insane Clown Posse on tour. And I think Ronebone, he did an episode of Beneath the Dirt where he put ICP's Not Farewell Tour. I absolutely love the name of that for their tour, the Not Farewell Tour. They're going on the second leg of their Not Farewell Tour, kicking off June 10th, going until June 22nd. They're hitting fucking Tennessee. There's 3 dates in Tennessee. They're hitting Alabama, Arkansas, Missouri, fucking Nebraska, Wisconsin, Minnesota, another Wisconsin, and then Illinois. So they did not come to Indiana. If they end up doing a third leg of their Not Farewell Tour, and it's in Indiana, I will definitely make the venture out for that, because I am not going to The Gathering, most likely not going to Hollowicked this year. So if they come somewhere in Indiana, I would definitely like to go fucking see ICP, because it's been actually a couple years now since I've seen ICP. I think Hollowicked 2023 was the last time I saw the clowns. So I would definitely be down to go see some fucking ICP. I've seen them a good, I think I had counted at one time. I think I'm up to like 20 times of going and seeing them live. So they always fucking kill it. Jay has off days every so often where he misses lyrics, but I've always, like, even though he's kind of missing lyrics on stage, I'm still there singing along anyway, still having a good time anyway. So it's like, for me, like, whatever, it's a hiccup. I'm still there fucking rocking it anyway, feeling the vibe, feeling the love. So, yeah, ICP going on tour, second leg, the Not Farewell Tour, and who knows, maybe they'll go on a third leg of it. That'd be pretty fucking sweet. And I don't know what I want to title this episode of What's Happening Now. What I was originally going for was The Gathering Gets Smaller, because they had posted the map for The Gathering this year. And there was a huge change done to it that immediately stood out to Megs and I. And that is the fact that one of the campgrounds is kind of closed off now. And there's actually a new campground, which was kind of there last year, the year before that. Well, we went in 2023. And they had like a wooded area. If you've never been to Legend Valley, there's like a wooded area. So like you come in and you go this way, and main stage is down this way, merch tent is this way. Up on past the merch tent, that's usually where they have like a second stage. And off to the left of that, there's like a wooded area that for many years you never really could go into. It was always kind of closed off. Well, they've actually like made it into a campground now, and I've got the fucking map up here. That's now a full-fledged campground, and the second stage is going to be over there. They've like hugely moved shit around, and they've actually done this a few times. And Woodstock, when I went, which is 2018, they had significantly changed the gathering grounds from when I went in 2016 to Gathering 17. So they've once again done another huge change. For anybody that doesn't know, Lost Lands goes down at fucking Legend Valley. So most of these changes, I assume, are because of Lost Lands. So the original campground here, you can see the little key here on the fucking map for like the info tent, med tent, all that good shit. That used to be a campground. It was at one point the Kayfabe. When we went in 2016, it was called Kayfabe. I think it was called, I don't remember what it was called for Woopstock, but then when Megs and I went this last time, I believe it was called the Fury Campground, or it might have been the, I don't fucking remember. 665 Campground is actually what it was called. I do remember now. It's kind of a little bit of a hilly area. And when we went in 2016, that's where they had the JCW ring. And so the last time we went, it was like really hard to find a good spot to camp because you kind of ended up in the hill. So, I mean, them not using that campground kind of makes sense just because it's like a very uneven place. But from what I had seen on Reddit, and I forget who it was, I think Master Weibo is his name. He had commented something about, or somebody, I'm pretty sure it was him, had said that for Lost Lands, they actually have a new stage there called it's like the Crater or something like that, I think was the name of it. But they have a new like DJ booth or whatever set up, and I'm assuming that that's probably just still there. So maybe that's why they've closed off that campground now, and you can't access it now for the gathering. But really kind of looking and comparing anyway, I was originally going to call this the Gathering Gets Smaller, but the more that I really analyze the two campgrounds, I feel like it's not really going to impact the amount of camping space that they have versus what they had. Again, just because of how uneven that area was anyway. And honestly, just the fact that they made something there called the Crater is pretty fucking awesome because it literally is like a fucking crater. Like when you would walk into the campground, there was a fucking dirt road. It dips down and then it dips back up. It's like a fucking crater. So the fact that they even utilize that space in that way is pretty fucking cool. But they did it for Lost Lands. They haven't done it for the Gathering. I think it would be cool for them to make it accessible for the Gathering. But to be honest with you, I think that would be pretty fucking sweet, even though, you know, juggalos tend to tear shit up. But yeah, the Gathering is kind of changing around. So yeah, I wouldn't say that it's gotten smaller. I would say it's just really kind of moved around. And the biggest way that it's gotten smaller, honestly, in comparative to the few other years that I've gone, the biggest thing that I would say that's happened in the last couple of years as far as size-wise goes is where the parking lot was. There actually used to be a section that was camping there at one point in time. That's the biggest change that I've seen so far, is that campground is just gone. It used to be there, but it's not anymore. Other than that, I mean, I'd say the Gathering size has pretty much stayed consistent. So, but yeah, Gathering map was revealed, and that was like a whole thing I was going to make this video. But wait, I didn't really know how much I wanted to talk about this, just because it's kind of old news, but confirmed news. ICP's like, what are we, triple down at this point? Because we'd had previously where Violent J was doubling down on it, and now we have Shaggy kind of doubling down on it, and them together like triple down on it, that ICP confirms the Naught. The 6 Jokers card of the second hand will drop at the Gathering. I know, I'm reading a Fagel Lovers article. I found it easier to just go fucking screenshot their post about it and throw it up here. This isn't me reporting nothing. This is me giving my thoughts and opinions on the shit that's happening. Know the difference. I know this isn't the first time we post about this. However, it seems like Violent J and Shaggy weren't necessarily on the same page as of a few months ago. True. Shaggy was asked about it on his podcast and said there was no way it would happen, while Violent J said otherwise. Now, with both Jay and Shaggy in the same room, the Insane Clown Posse has confirmed the 6 Jokers card of the second hand, aka the Naught, will 100% be released at the Gathering of Legends. But not only that, the big thing from this that I also took, there's a link to an interview that was conducted at Sonic Temple. At like the 10-minute mark, somewhere in that area, you get Shaggy confirming, or no, it wasn't Shaggy, it was Jay. Jay came out and said it's called The Naught. So while we've had the translation teaser from last year, and we had them at one point post up a translated version of it that said The Naught, we have with 100% confirmation from Jay's mouth that it is going to be called The Naught. It is stamped into fucking existence 1000% now. It is going to be called The Naught. We still don't have at least, I mean, I know we talked about this previously, that I want at least a name, I want an image before we get the card. We've got the name now, 100% confirmed. We don't have the image. And if they're fucking triple, quadruple down on it going to be released at the Gathering, I'm going to safely say we are not getting an image before the Gathering. If anything, when they release the program, maybe they'll have a fucking like graphic in there that has it. But even then, I don't think it's going to go down like that. I honestly don't know how they're going to go about revealing this, if they even are. And I've started to make this like joke. I've made it, I think, once now, where I was like, imagine that they give us the 6 Jokers card, and the only thing it has for the cover is just black. There is no fucking Joker card. Now, I know Shaggy has said on his podcast, he has said on the Shaggy Show, that he's been working on mock-up designs for it. So there is going to be an image, but just imagine we get the CD and it's black. We get nothing. We get naught. But then you open it up, and that's when you finally will get what the Joker card looks like. I doubt that's what they would do. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't follow the continuity of the previous ones. But that would honestly be something kind of interesting and different, to just give us something black. You open it up, and then you get the actual image inside, or something like that, you know, or do one of those, like, you know how Twiztid did with the Green Book, where you open the book up and it's got like their face paint, you peel back the thing and then it reveals their faces. Something like that, where there's a clear front where you can't see nothing, you see naught. And then when you open it, you see the entity that would be the Naught, or, you know, would represent the Naught. I think it's very safe to assume, with it being confirmed now, that the Joker card is called the Naught, which means nothing. Like, literally, it means nothing. I think it's safe to assume that this is going to be from the perspective of someone who's an atheist. Because in that teaser, they said for someone who doesn't make it to Shangri-La, or they don't meet the Wraith, or whatever. I don't remember. It's been over a year, baby, and I didn't brush up on it, okay? Cut me some slack here. I'm paraphrasing off of my rough memory, but I remember it saying something about not meeting the Wraith. So maybe, like, I know a lot of people think purgatory, but, like, if you don't meet the Wraith is who takes you to Hell's Pit. I don't know why I went up with that. He takes you to Hell's Pit, or he welcomes you into Shangri-La, right? If you don't meet the Wraith, you're not going to either one of those places. If you're confronted with the Naught, he takes you to where atheists believe is the afterlife, which is nothing. Atheists believe that when you die, nothing happens. You just cease to exist. And that is a realistic way to kind of have like a third afterlife. It makes sense to have this be what the Naught will be. You meet the Naught and you just, like, straight up Thanos. He snaps your ass, you turn into dust, and you just don't exist anymore. There's so many other different ways I could have went, and I went with Thanos because even when Thanos snapped, I guess, like, when you turn into dust, don't you go into, like, the reality stone? Because he puts you in, like, a false reality or whatever. So even that didn't fully make sense. Like, you straight up, you don't fucking exist anymore when you face the Naught. So I think that that's a safe assumption on what the Naught will be. Time will tell. And according to ICP, the Gathering is when we will know. And again, they've delayed shit before, so until it comes out, I'm not saying one way or the other, because The record has shown that it doesn't always come out when they say it's going to. And sometimes it does. Sometimes they delay albums, and then sometimes they undelay them and we get them. So we will find out what we will find out come gathering time. But that's going to do it for this edition. That's going to do it for this What's Happening Now. But before we go, it's time to check out the collection plate.
Pass the collection plate.
Show me how you give.
Pass the collection plate.
The collection plate, I'm going to narrow it down just a little bit more with this. I know I've gone through and read like really thought out comments. I want to narrow it down to just 5. The 5 like comments that I want to respond to. So if you want to guarantee yourself a spot on the collection plate, then you can drop a fucking super thanks, a super comment. That'll guarantee you on the collection plate. And then, you know, whoever does that, I will definitely read those comments and respond to them. It's like, especially if you have something you want to like interact with me about. And then from there, go with 5 other people as well. But the other thing, I didn't even announce at the beginning of this video because I'm just fucking awful about it. You guys may or may not have noticed, memberships are back. You can join and become a member to help support the channel. If you are a member and you leave a comment that you want to leave something for the collection plate, any members who comment, I will bring into the collection plate as well. So starting it off, we have Andrew Cormier? Is it Cormier? Cormier. Andrew Cormier. I'm gonna say Cormier. It sounds foreign. It sounds sophisticated. Andrew Cormier, who says, "For me, I'm good with New Lotus. I do think maybe a new name would be a good idea, but they did leave enough room with mythology. Per se, they could do something around Rebirth. Mars or another petal would be cool at this point. I'll take what I can get. I miss Lotus." I'm so back and forth when it comes to the Lotus thing. Like, I 1000% firmly, wholeheartedly believe it's not Dark Lotus if ICP or Twiztid's not part of it. Do I think that they can take and make like a spin-off? Sure, I would be okay with that. Something that's like Lotus, but not called Dark Lotus. They can reference the Lotus flower. I would be okay with that too. But if they call it at any point Dark Lotus, that for me where it's like, because it's not Dark Lotus. If ICP is not part of it, it's not Dark Lotus. I have previously stated 4 petals is something I'm okay with. 4 petals of the Lotus, I'm okay with because it references the Lotus, but it's clearly like an iteration of it. It's not the same. And Andrew is absolutely right. There is plenty of room here in the mythology for it. And in fact, something I've never shared before in my own head canon is with the last Dark Lotus album in 2014, Mud, Water, Air, and Blood. You know, the end of the cycle of the Dark Lotus, essentially, if you really dive into that. That album went, sure, they did performances up until 2016, but what happened the very next year in 2015? Ala Zulilu started making music, right? So kind of in my own little headcanon is you have the Lotus pod, the Dark Lotus, it withered away for its last time, and because the fucking Lotus flower is no longer blooming and going out and punishing and balancing spiritual energy in the world, it has allowed the gods of evil, it's allowed Ala Zulilu, the head of horns, to sprout and walk the earth again. The gods of evil rise. They've risen up, you know. They're back roaming the earth, and that is what has led them to, you know, the Almighty, Church of Zul, Mausoleum, and then now Gods of Evil Rise. Like, to me, in my own headcanon, the Dark Lotus no longer blooming is why Ala Zulilu was able to rise. And at one point in time, when Venomous 5 was still a possibility, it was then in my headcanon that Ala Zulilu stumbled upon these 2 petals that came from this sacred lotus flower on the ground, and using their own, like, I don't even know what you want to say, using their own venom, their own evil, gave rebirth to these 2 petals, and that was going to be what Venomous 5 is going to be in my own headcanon, which that's kind of got to be erased now because Venomous 5 is not a thing. But that's in my own headcanon where I'm at when it comes to certain things. And I'm a very imaginative motherfucker. None of this is confirmed anywhere. There's no, I'm going to say now, there's no lore in Ala Zulilu's music that says this. This is just where my head went. So it's, like I said, it's in my headcanon. That's how Ala Zulilu was able to give birth to, that's how they were able to come about. The head of horn sprouted and all that good stuff that gave us Ala Zulilu. That's where my head went. So moving on from that, then we got Joker's Gallery, who says, I want 0 side projects from ICP or Twiztid. They are in their 50s. Just do the real shit. M&E side projects are always ass. And hey, that's his opinion. I'm gonna respect it. I disagree a little bit. I actually have been enjoying some of M&E side projects. I've actually recently went back to Eastside Ninjas and really enjoyed that project. And when it comes to like them wanting to do the Dark Lotus thing, or a Dark Lotus thing, I've said it before that I think Samhain Witch Killers is a unused group concept that they could be using instead. I feel like there's different things they could be doing, and I would be okay with it. And you know, honestly though, if it came down to them just focusing on Twiztid shit and every so often doing House of Crazies to give us a more refined Wicked shit type album, that's cool too. But I definitely feel like when it comes to ICP, I for sure want them focused on ICP. I've said that in the past, and I'm still saying it now, that I think ICP should just focus on ICP. And I say that because we're just now getting through with the second hand of Joker cards, and Jay has been saying there's going to be a third hand. So they need to really focus on this third hand because they are in their 50s. So, you know what I mean? If we're going to have a third hand of Joker cards, let's crack down, boys, and let's get this shit going. You know what I mean? But then also, like, I'm also in the headspace where I don't want them to rush because then we get fucking shit. So, moving on from that, we have Caden Hipper Music Movie Collector. Says, the whole time I thought the intro song for What's Happening Now was a song that Violent J and Shaggy made specifically for DC Fago Guy to use. Turns out it's actually a song from The Tempest that DC Fago Guy used. Yes. What's Happening Now was 100% inspired by What About Now from The Tempest. That's kind of how I get a lot of my ideas sometimes, is just listening to the music. When it comes to this Juggalo shit, I'm here for the music. The music is what inspired me, touched me, and has kept me here. And you may be asking, where did it touch me? It touched me in a place I'm not going to show you, because you guys don't need to see that. But yes, this whole series was inspired by What About Now? And I have a whole other ass fucking series of videos that I'm kind of reviving and bringing back, inspired by another song with What You Thinking About. That's just how my head works. I'm inspired by music. So, yeah. Wanted to bring that up and point that out for anybody who didn't really know that. So, then we have Ivy Killa, who says, Twiztid have to do the Taylor Swift thing because no one is buying their new stuff. Twiztid lives off old Juggalo's member berries. I have to strongly disagree with that, because I think if Twiztid wasn't doing well with their new music sales, I don't think that they would be able to continue to do what they're doing. I do see them go back to a lot of that old stuff because it's super nostalgic. People are going to eat that up. Does it mean that they can't do that with their newer stuff? I mean, Monoxide seems to be super annoyed doing that, which it confuses me why it is we're getting a fucking Freak Show tour for the fucking, 25th anniversary of Freak Show, versus them touring their brand new album, which I actually enjoy. I love it quite a bit. I think I would put it in my top 5 albums by Twiztid. That's where I'm at with that, and they're not even touring it. They've half-assed the CD packaging for it, repressed it 1,000,000 goddamn times on vinyl, and they're not even going to tour it? Like, I know that I feel like they were 100%, I don't know why I always say 100%. Why do I do that? I don't fucking know. I feel like they were counting on that Cold Chamber tour for that new album, and now that that's not happening, they're just like, well, I guess let's focus on the next thing. That to me is a big fucking bummer, because like that, I feel like Welcome to Your Funeral was really, really good. The music behind it was really, really good. I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed what they did with it. Now, I know, and I think that they know, that the majority of their fan base isn't into that shit, which sucks because, like, I think the best way that they're going to keep moving forward is to, like, really fucking, like, do a project like what they did with Welcome to Your Funeral and fucking stand behind it. But it feels like they just went, next one, let's go. And that's going to bring me to my last piece of, my last comment from the collection plate. Void Gazer Wisco, who says, Twiztid needs to stop making so many albums, slow down, and focus on making a bona fide classic. Which is what I think they did with Welcome to Your Funeral. A lot of people shat on that album. They hate it. They don't want that sound from Twiztid. I've listened to it so much that when I listen to it now, what it does for me is it stands out from everything else they've done in the last how many years. You know what I mean? They've always had that little sprinkle of rock in their shit. Always. This album is them so honed in on it, and in my opinion, doing it right. They worked with a producer who knew what the fuck he was doing, and the music he came up with for them is really fucking good, in my opinion. I know there's a lot of people that don't feel that way, but music is also subjective. If they don't like that type of music, they're not gonna like that fucking album. But for someone like me who listens to other bands who have that kind of sound, they have a similar sound, I think Twiztid did really fucking good with this album. And it's a shame that a lot of their fan base is shitting on it. But, like, you can tell the effort that went into this versus, like, shit that they've been putting out recently. You know what I mean? Like, Gilf. Welcome to Your Funeral blows Gilf out of the fucking water to me. In my opinion, it blows fucking Revelations out of the water. I might even say it blows Mad Season out of the water. What they did with Welcome to Your Funeral was really fucking good. The producer they worked with did really fucking good. This album is really fucking good to me, but it's a music style that I like, and I think they did very well tuning to that. They did very well doing that type of music with that type of music. So I agree that Twiztid needs to slow down and focus a little bit more. I know that they're really good at churning it out, and I also know, again, we're in the climate where it's like, you finish a plate, all right, where's the next one at, right? That's just kind of where we're at. If you're not putting out an album at least every year, you're probably falling behind. But ICP's also survived by putting out albums every couple of years just fine. So I do think that Twiztid is in a place where they should probably really focus in on a really solid album with a great theme, like Welcome to Your Funeral, and fucking stand behind that shit, put it out, tour it. They've done really good with the merchandising for it. The CD packaging sucks assholes, but they had some really dope merch for the album, and they've been putting out really dope merch for the album. This is the kind of shit I want to see them do more of, is that. Like, I feel like what they did with 31, also really good. And I know that they put that album, I feel like they put that album out within like a year's time of starting on it. I think. I don't know. I don't remember the time frame of when Jamie said he started reaching out to ROC about doing that shit. But I mean, yeah, that's something I would definitely like to see Twiztid do a little bit more as well. Is just kind of dial it back. I know we're in a climate where you got to fucking put them out, but I'm also somebody who doesn't really care for that. Like Ouija Mac, I stopped trying to keep up with that motherfucker years ago. He's got a style that I don't really care for anyway. So trying to keep up with all of his new albums when he drops 10 in a year, you know what I mean? Like, I'm glad there's people that dig it, but it's too much for me. But yeah, I feel like with Twiztid, and I feel like definitely with Twiztid really needs to kind of focus in on like an album and spend some time on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know where to go from there. I don't really know what to say from there. My fucking train of thought left the fucking station. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of What's Happening Now. Tell me down below what you guys think about what's happening now, and maybe, just maybe, you guys will make it into the next collection plate. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time.